Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Survivors Complex. We've got mostly a full crew here today. Thank you for coming back, Morgan. We will get started here in a minute. Thank you, everyone out there, for joining us. Couple of quick announcements. We had some awesome shows this last week. You can check out all of our YouTube channel. We had another riveting episode of Wild Space. It was very exciting. That should be up. It is up now. So you can check that out from YouTube after you watch us, of course. We've had some awesome video game streams. Continuing to, I think we've seen the entirety of Doom now. On this channel, you can check out all. I don't know what the total timestamp for that came down to, but it's going to be a lot, and it's up on our Twitch page right now if you want to watch any of our VODs. But we're working on getting those to YouTube as well. But that is a lot. Those some long videos.
Good job, Ryan.
Yeah, good job, Ryan. That was a lot of fun too. So this coming week, though, for anyone out there that is not familiar with our schedule, any newcomers, we have our next session of Apocrypha. After a brief hiatus for that, we had to cancel our last session, so we'll be picking up this Monday and continuing our adventure in the apocalypse. And we will have another session of Tidefall, I believe, this Thursday, picking up on a hiatus from that as well. A lot of stuff going on. This time of the year is busy for everyone, but hopefully getting back to our consistent schedule now. I think that is basically it as far as new things go. We are working on a lot of video game streams that we're going to be bringing to you in the near future. Of course, as I'm sure everyone out there on the internet is aware right now, Steam sale going on, so we're picking up all sorts of fun things that we're hopefully going to be playing in the next few weeks. So keep an eye out on that. I think that's it as far as I can think of. So let's go ahead and jump back into the Twilight Realms to continue our adventure in Survivors Complex. Go back to my dungeon music. There we go. Last session of Survivors Complex, we witnessed our heroes journey south across the Twilight Realms and through the Feywilds to the Forge of the Precursors in an attempt to rid this beautiful land, this otherworldly landscape, of the plagues that have befallen it, namely the rulership of the Queens of Night Magic and the Queen of Witches. You surreptitiously entered the Forge of the Precursors using the key granted you by the King of the Rivers. You followed the footsteps, or following behind the path laid down before you by Star's father, Ice, and an old comrade of yours, Rishkar Aldridge. The two of them having absconded with your ore, with your materials, in an effort, as far as you could tell, to carry out this mission to assassinate these queens on their own. You, not being big fans of that, pursued after them, braved the difficulties and the treacherous interior of this abandoned forge on your own, overcoming traps and puzzles, encountering the specters of long dead craftsmen that had walked the halls of this magnificent ancient structure long before you. You met Grinlor the Builder, the founder of this sacred order of craftsmen that first created these cold iron weapons. You did battle with a massive cold iron golem, which absorbed your spells and kicked some ass and was thusly overcome by your trio at the moment, as Tova had been turned into a frog as well. And finally made your way into the forge itself, the housing chamber that holds this ancient arcane construct, where you found Ice and Rishkar. There were words shared, tempers flared. Ultimately, they stood down, knowing that it would take your party's skills and ingenuity to complete this task. You had some dramatic conversations, and there were some words shared between father and son in these moments, ending on sort of mutually sort of respected terms, maybe not the most familial terms, but at least reaching some sort of understanding. And after that, you fixed the forge using the magical powers and gifts granted to you each individually. You aided Sadel in his attempt to restore this construct to its former glory, which you were able to without issue, and thus began toiling at this, the bellows, and striking hammer to anvil began the process of crafting these items. And that's where we left off, with Sadel standing before this glowing massive construct, pulling at levers and turning wheels and feeding the white and blue flames within this forge, creating the items that would hopefully going to bring you closer to casting down the queens. And that's where we're picking up. So a couple of things that we're going to start here a bit differently, because this is sort of a lengthy process, and I'm not going to sit here and play this all out, because we'll just sit here this entire session and do that. But over the next few hours, Sadel continues this process of crafting these items to your individual specifications. So I want to go through and sort of talk about what everybody's making. So just to remind anyone out there watching, and those of you, my players as well, who I'm sure have not forgotten how this stuff works, because you've been looking at it all day. The way that this process works, crafting at the forge, it greatly accelerates the process of crafting magical items, and because these items are innately magical in the process of forging them. Essentially, you're going to use a quantity of cold iron ore. You have essentially 10 units is how we are dividing this up. Each of you have 2 effectively, including Todabet and Toda, who are unable to speak right now. We'll get to that in a moment. You expend a quantity of it. It's 1 for light armor or simple weapons. You can get like 2 daggers out of 1 unit, or 1 longsword, or a warhammer, or something like that. 2 units gets you a heavy weapon or medium armor. 3 units for heavy armor. And you get to automatically apply up to 4 effects. They can be a +1 to attack rolls or damage rolls, up to a total of +3. You can do a D4 of a chosen damage type or resistance if you're picking armor. And you can increase the size of that damage type by choosing that option more than once. Or you can gain a special weapon or armor quality. Some of the weapon qualities, I think we'll go through those depending on what you guys pick, and talk about those a bit more. So, who wants to go first? Okay, so let's say testing out the anvil. You decide to go with your trusty, something that you need to make or something that you're more familiar making, Sado, to sort of break in the forge and understand a bit how it works. So what is Sado making first?
Well, I'm just, like you said, sticking with what he knows, and he's going to make himself a cold iron thunder cannon.
Okay. So you begin taking one of the units to create the individual pieces of the machine and begin putting those together. What qualities are you picking for your thunder cannon?
I'm going to take that +3 to attack, and then I'm also going to give it explosive damage.
Okay. So you get the 4 effects. You're choosing 3 of those to get it all the way up to a +3. Good choice. So +3 to attack rolls and damage. And then the explosive we've all seen with Den's flail essentially turns it adds an exploding die factor to the main weapon damage. So now the 2d6 that you do for your thunder cannon now has the potential of compounding if you roll 6s. Awesome. So that's one of them. Are you making anything else?
Yeah, I'm gonna make something for Didar.
Okay.
And I think, because I'm trying to decide whether I want to use the cold iron for his teeth so that his bite is stronger, or if I want to give him a tail spike.
It's a tough call.
I think, just for the sake of aesthetic, I'm going to go with the tail spike.
Tail spike. Okay, I like that. So what do you want to go as far as the effects for the tail spike?
I'm going to give it... I think I'm going to give it that same +3 to hit. But then, instead of explosive damage... Do I have any suggestions?
I was actually going to suggest reach, but I don't know how long his tail is.
He's already got the 10-foot.
Does he?
Yeah, with his bite, it's a 10-foot.
Yeah, his bite attack already has reach. I would say his tail attack probably does not innately. So if you could get it to have his tail attack also be 10 feet, or you could pick something else.
Sorry, I just started laughing because I thought of Didar with a sentient tail.
A sentient tail.
Don't do that.
I just saw in the chat a leeching effect.
Ooh. That isn't one of the options that I put on there.
Maybe something like it. I guess that would be necrotic damage, maybe?
No, I'd say it could work. Yeah, I kind of like that. I don't want to throw a wrench at anybody else who's not like, oh, I wish I had known that was an option or something. If you guys wanted to change that, I mean, I'm willing to work with you guys on custom things. Yeah, I think we could work that out. So maybe he heals a certain amount of the damage that he deals with his tail. Yeah, we could work out something with that. I'll have to. I'm thinking about the details, or you could give him. Yeah. Okay. So, do you want to? Here's what I'm going to ask. Do you want it to be a leeching effect where it deals additional damage, where you could just give him the plus 1d4 necrotic damage or poison damage, or something like that, or do you want it to actually be like he is healing for the amount of damage that he's dealing, or something?
Well, I think I can, because I can always just fix him up and rebuild him during rest, so I don't think I'll need that healing. So I'll go with extra damage.
Okay, I think that works too. I'll let you, so you can do a 1d4 necrotic damage or poison damage or something like that on top of it if you wanted to. Which also, thinking about it, so we had to talk about what the because this is a custom weapon for Didar, what the damage die is. What's his normal bite damage? I know it's like
3d6.
3d6. Okay. So I'll say
+4.
here's the option that I'll give you here with this, balancing it. I don't want to obviously don't spend too much time on it. If you want to think about it, so we can either do the tail damage the same as the bite damage, and just he has an alternate tail effect that maybe you do. His bite damage is piercing. This could be bludgeoning or something. Unless you want to do it spiked and you want to be piercing too. So it could either be different, but the same amount of damage, or we could do like a 1d10, have it be a lower amount of damage, but we could count it as an extra attack for him. So essentially giving him that multi-attack option that I know he desperately needs.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that multi-attack option.
Okay, so we'll do this. It'll be 1d10 damage, and then the additional 1d4 necrotic or poison or whatever you decided on. And with the +3, so you can factor that it's going to use his strength, the same as the other. Okay, I like that. So that'll be he gets his extra attack now.
Sweet.
All right, so let's go ahead while you're getting all that in. Who wants to step up to the forge next?
I'll do it.
Okay. Alex, what is Star making?
First, Star is upgrading his claw.
Okay.
Removing the original iron or steel pointed tips at the end for the cold iron ones.
Okay.
Giving it that funky blue glow.
All right, so yeah, we decided this would count as a light weapon, so it's using 1/2 of the unit. So what are the effects that you want with the claw?
The effects I want on the claw is it does an extra 1d6 psychic damage,
Okay.
and then +2 to attack rolls and damage rolls.
Okay, so choosing the extra damage dice twice to upgrade that d4 to d6, and then a +2. Awesome. Even more psychic damage. Okay, so Sadel toils with that for a bit. Actually, that's probably pretty easy because the pieces are just tiny, sharpened sort of endpoints that reattach to the claws. So that's fairly straightforward. What do you want to do with the second half?
The second half is being used to make a new dagger. This with +3 to attack and damage rolls and the returning property.
Okay, so he crafts a dagger for you. Again, the specifications for the design and for the daggers, I'm gonna let you guys decide. They all have, and all the metal that comes out this is the same as Ice's, which is that white metal. So aesthetically, that's the color option here. Anything else, and that's just the metal itself. Anything else, that's up to you guys. And there's lots of material he's pulling from here. Anything that's not entirely metal, has leather working and stuff into it, is available here in this forge, preserved, stored, and things that Saddle is using. And the rest of that is up to you guys as far as aesthetics go. So I'll let you do that or doodle that or whatever you want, or describe it the next time you guys are in a battle. Awesome. So you get your returning dagger, and essentially the way that the returning property is going to work is as long as you are throwing it within its normal range increment, it will return to your grasp at the end, or after you throw it. No action or anything required. This gnat is bugging the shit out of me. Okay, so I think this is what happens now. So we'll do a brief interlude here. So as you're toiling away with the pieces and he's making the claws, I think Den, you're keeping watch. What is Den doing while this is all happening?
Probably keeping watch. Yeah.
Okay. I think Ice and Rishkar have probably come back by now, having scouted out the rest of the interior and gathered what supplies they can. And you notice some of the bags that you guys have put off to the side, dropping your materials and, just kind of relaxing a bit. There is a little bit of movement from inside of your your bag, and you see 2 frog heads pop out for a moment. The one sort of bearded frog, and the one larger brown frog of Tova or Toda, and they both hop out for a moment and kind of hop over towards the forge, where you see some of the ore is sitting that you guys have piled up, and as they both hop on top of the ore pile, there is another flash of light and energy, and you watch as both Tova and Lilibet both appear once again.
Guys.
What? Where are we?
Ancient magical forge of magic. It's a long story. You were a toad.
How did you turn into a toad?
Well, like turn to look a little bit. I don't understand.
That shrugs.
But I mean, I don't really remember. So how long have we been like this? I mean, I guess a while. Okay.
It's been less than a day.
Oh, not very long.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've only been a toad for like a day.
Well, that's good. So I guess we made it to the forge then?
Yeah.
And like Sedel's like over there like working.
Yeah, he's just working away. Probably hasn't even noticed yet.
Well, it's good to be myself again. That was weird.
I think a little bit also, kind of surprisingly, she says, so this is the forge then?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you guys have much trouble getting here? Did you make it here before Ice and Wishkar?
They made it here before us, but they'd run out of options after we'd done all the legwork.
At which point Rishkar, I think, walks up and says, hello. You're new.
Oh.
I don't think we've met before. Oh, no, we have. Well, where have you been?
Indisposed. You could say.
Well, glad you can. I just assumed if you had died along the way.
I mean, but we do live a dangerous lifestyle, so that makes sense.
I'll go back to what I was doing. And he just skulks away. So after that reunion, so I part of the reason doing that is so the three of you, Lil, Tova, and Den, all have your options. I think we'll just go ahead and skip through. Lil goes up to Sadel and asks you to make her a warhammer. And so you craft that for her. I don't remember the details of what it was that she was going to do, but I'm sure she will send those to me in a moment. Because I think they're in the chat somewhere and I just have forgotten already. But she has you make the warhammer.
Done and done.
Done and done. So you have an extra piece there because she's only using one of hers. So Tova and Den.
I can go next. So also sort of making dagger-like weapons. They're like little kunai, like throwing daggers. Yeah. One of which does ice damage or cold damage, and the other one does fire damage.
And so you're doing? Doing an attack modifier on them?
Yeah. So that twice. So then they're d6s.
Okay.
And then they both are returning as well.
Okay.
Legit. And then I guess they're +1.
Okay. So +1 fire and ice returning daggers. That's really cool. Okay, so or kunai. We'll go with that. So you have those, and Saddle's working away on those as well. And return those again. The machine is incredibly quick, and most of it is automated. Again, putting in the ore, Saddle adjust a few specifications, a few pieces along the way, and you hear some smashing, grinding from within, and essentially kind of like a Build-A-Bear workshop. Out pops a small set of kunai for you.
But I do want to add to that just very briefly.
Okay.
Those little details that Saddle is working on are like, to them, if they're watching, may seem like the most minuscule thing, but like this is the most focused and most detail oriented they have ever seen Saddle.
I love it.
So focused.
So yeah, I mean, just off by, I think maybe at one point, Rishkar is just inspecting it, maybe like accidentally bumps one of the levers just a little bit, and Saddle just goes over, just moves it just slightly back, and it just with that just a small amount of precision and almost OCD attitude towards everything just being perfect on this machine.
He's actually gotten his slide rule out and making sure everything's just the perfect distance.
Yeah, and an abacus for some reason, just because. No, I love that. Okay, so you do that, and then Den.
Yes. I'm making two things. I'm going to replace my flail
Yes.
with a cold iron flail, which will be +2 to attack and damage. Have exploding damage dice and 10-foot reach.
10-foot reach. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. I was going to say like a slinky flail. I don't think that's exactly what I'm going for.
It's a very large one.
But I like the idea that it's not necessarily the chain is longer, but that when you're like it extends, it like Brigitte's flail from.
Oh yeah, it's a lot like that actually.
That's kind of what I'm.
It's
what I'm
kind of
envisioning.
almost exactly like that. It's funny
Yeah.
you should mention it.
Okay. And then you're doing anything with your second piece?
Yes, and then I'm going to also make a cold iron shield, which is going to give me +3 to AC, and also has spell resistance.
Okay. All right. So I think that brings your AC like to 1 million or something.
23.
Okay.
Yeah, so 1 million.
It's a 23 now.
Yeah.
And my
That'll do
movement
it.
speed goes back up, yay.
Okay. So that leaves you guys with 3 pieces remaining that you can do other things with. What are you guys doing with the other 3 units?
We wanted to make the swords
Mm-hmm.
for Bear King and
The Wild
What's his-
Hunt,
Wild Hunt, yeah.
that main guy.
Okay. So I'll give you one bit of suggestion. You've never met the Wild Hunt, the Lord of the Wild Hunt, so you don't know much about him. You do know, based on what you saw of the Bear King or Misakamen or Old Honey Paws, he was a little more fond of hammers. So you actually saw him carrying a large maul, which I realize is funny because he's a bear, but he is a bear that uses a maul. God, this is just all bear puns.
You did this to yourself.
I did, but he does use a maul, which would be 2 units if you want to use your third one to give him that heavy weapon. If you really want to do that, but you don't have to if you want to just make him a warhammer or something. I'll leave that up to you guys because, like I said, you do have 3 units to work with. There is also Ice has a weapon. Or a cold forged weapon, so he's good. Rishkar does not. Gil does not. If you wanted to outfit Gil with something, or you could give Didar the teeth or something like that. You guys have lots of options. But here's what I'll say with the so you make the sword for we'll do that one first because that's a little more of a given. So you're making the sword for the wild hunt. Long sword? Yes. Okay.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, this is
Seems
all
the
just guess.
safest option.
Any specifics you want to do with attack and damage or anything like that? What effects do you want to give it?
Yeah, like
And
a
there's no-
+1 or a +2 for sure.
Okay. There's no wrong answers here. I just want you guys are. There's. If you guys are thinking about clues or something, you don't really can't think of anything you might have. But there's not necessarily a wrong answer. You can I just want to know what you guys come up with. And you're just making something random.
What is the backlash?
Backlash is for armor, and it essentially gives if you hit somebody, it deals some damage back to the attacker.
Okay.
You could make it do like lightning damage.
Yeah, lightning sword would be cool.
Lightning sword.
I'm backing up on this quickly. Perhaps we should make him a longbow instead.
Because he's a hunter?
Because you think
Basically, yeah.
He is the Lord of the Wild Hunt.
He is the Lord of the Wild
could do
Hunt.
that.
Yeah, you could do that. Easy enough.
Lightning bow.
Lightning bow. Lightning bow sounds cool.
Okay, so
Depends how much he wants the carcass of his hunt burnt to a crisp.
I mean, if they're already cooked, that's just less work, right?
Take one step out of the process.
Yeah.
Or we could have it do like force damage or something like that.
That's true.
yeah.
Mhm.
I was gonna suggest psychic damage, less blunt force trauma on whatever it hits. Like there'll be the arrow hole, but the rest is like turning their brain to mush.
Force, dude.
Sounds
Unless
scary.
brains are a delicacy in the Feywild.
Not the brain.
Sure. Well, we can do a what, like +3 to attack and damage, and then
A D4.
a D4 psychic.
Yeah.
I
That
like
seems
it.
probably the safest option.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Okay, so you make a longbow for the Lord of the Hunt.
A
So
very long bow.
somebody go ahead and mark that in their inventory.
I got it.
All right. Somebody else mark it. I'm just kidding.
Wow. I don't know why I turned into Owen Wilson there for a second. Wow.
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 So you have 2 units left. You can either use both to make something for the Bear King, or you can make something for the Bear King and then make something else.
Is 1 unit enough to make Gil like a tiny bow and tiny armor? Because he's so little.
Half a unit would probably be enough to do that.
So cute. Yeah, a maul is a heavy weapon, so it would need 2 if we're gonna make him a maul.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like leftover little scraps we could make the whole thing for Gil. Just for flavor. Then he gets the killing blow. Could you imagine?
You could.
1 point of damage.
I haven't used
Oh,
Gil.
the toothpick!
Haven't used Gil in combat yet, but I'll just go ahead and explain a little bit. He's got a short bow, which has a +6 to hit,
Oh, thanks, son.
and deals 1d1 damage.
Oh.
But he does have the ability. He does have a poison that he can coat his arrows with, that can cause targets to fall unconscious. It's like a DC 10 Constitution saving throw, but
Oh, 10. That's cute.
What do you guys think?
Well, I don't know if we should take Gil into battle and worried about him.
No, probably
also-
not.
he
Oh,
also
there's
has
like 2 hit points.
he has literally 2 hit points.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
He's 2 kittens.
No, we'll just hide
We can
him.
just make him armor.
You could. He's also been perfectly happy hiding underneath
I
Ed's
think
armor for
maybe,
most of the
yeah, he can
fight.
just hide.
Yeah, he'll just hide.
Do you guys want to use 2 to do a maul then? That would be pretty impressive gift.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I offer a suggestion if you're going to make him a maul, though?
What kind of
As far as making it, or do you guys just want to come up with something on your own? Because I'm okay with it either way. But if you're going to give it to him and have him come into battle with you, I do have some preferences, but it's up to you guys.
I say we hear the preferences and then do not do it anyway.
And then
then
not do
disagree and do
it.
something else anyway.
I mean, a
Like, that's
throne
nice.
returning maul would be pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
That's so
Yeah.
sick.
Oh man.
A throne returning explosive maul would be even better, but
I should have done that with my thunder cannon.
What is?
I
what
just
does
shoot it, and then to reload, I just chuck it.
Reaper.
It blows up. I turn into
What is the-
Borderlands.
What's the throwing range on a maul?
it would just be a 20-foot throne range.
Oh, okay.
So not overly impressive, but
Guys,
still.
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that sounds really
That
cool.
was way better than my idea.
Sarah says we should do a warhammer in the shape of a honeypot instead of a maul.
You do a maul.
I was gonna say
I'll just make a honeypot.
I was gonna say we do the ends of like the head of the maul, so they have bear paw designs at the end of them.
Yeah.
I'll definitely put some bear themed stuff on there.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right.
sounds good.
I'm down for that. So somebody also mark down the war the maul, the paw maul, the maul.
Paul.
The Paul.
Paul.
Paul. His name is Paul.
Paul the maul. Should have made it
Give it a
sentient too.
Paul.
All the ball.
I am sad that nobody picked the sentient option. I'm sad that nobody picked to make ammunition sentient.
Sentient bullets.
I make my thunder cannon sentient, and instead of it making this giant booming noise, it just goes.
Just imagining you shooting them and you just hear this. Whee!
I make my call sentient whenever it talks. It's just like, hey.
You keep a sock over it.
There were a lot of great options there.
Oh,
But
you'd have to get toe socks.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, but the forge is still there, so you guys can always come back.
Come back.
You just need more.
We really should have killed those wormy guys. The scary bug guys.
Oh yeah, because they're there now. There's more.
Oh
of
no,
them.
now they're gonna wait for us to come back.
So
Side quest.
you've got your let's
Let's go kill all these things that none of you, the rest of you, wanted to kill while we were there.
but now you'll kill for greed.
I still don't want to kill them.
All right. So you have all your weapons, and so after about I think this whole process probably takes about 5 hours. So pretty
What were the stats on the mall? Again, just real quick.
So I think we went with a +1 with thrown, returning, and explosive. Which I'll have to update his sheet once you give it to him, but that will be fun. All right.
I think we should also tell chat these are all attuned items.
These are all attuned items, so you'll have.
Yeah. On that note, my ring of protection is up for grabs. If no one takes it, bag of holding.
I don't know if anybody has the attunement slots for those anymore.
Give me like 2 more levels and I can attune to it.
Do you have more than 3 attunement slots now?
I've got 4, and then I think at level 15 I get 5.
Okay. Yeah.
Or I could just attune to both of the thunder cannons.
You could. That's still an option. Don't forget, because your other thunder cannon still gives you the ability to cast haste. So you're losing that if you don't attune to it.
Oh, can I not remove the attachment and put it on? Because that was what.
It is the attachment your dad gave you.
If not, it's okay.
No. I think you could do that.
Right.
It's not going to give you the additional +2 on top. It's not going to turn to a +4 weapon.
Right.
But you could. Those aren't going to stack. But you could still keep the haste option. Sure, that's fine. I'll let you do that. Because it is an.
I'm giving you the opportunity to nerf me.
No, it's fine. You don't use it that much anyway.
Hashtag nerf Saddle.
Because every time I'd be like, I'm gonna haste Star, and then they decide to get real close and attack me, and I go, oh well,
Or not.
never mind.
Give me 2 levels, I'll be hating myself. He'll hate me anyway.
If you live that long. All right. So you have all your items.
Until Star Jasper comes back, right?
Oh God. You guys have all your items. After Sanel finishes toiling away at the forge, it begins to the glow begins to diminish and returns to its inert state. And the whole cavern goes quiet again. You all have your items. You're all able to attune to them. You've had plenty of time at this point. What would you like to do? What's your next step?
Next, I guess we either return to Bjornheim to drop off the mall, or we go straight to find the Wild Hunt.
Yeah, because Bjornheim's like halfway.
I'll take you back to the map if you want.
At the minute, if I'm remembering the map correctly, we'd have to go up an angle to get to Bjornheim first, and go back down again if you were going straight to their territory, straight across.
Yeah, I mean, the range of the Wild Hunt isn't the only place that they're found. That's just the region that's been designated as the range of the Wild Hunt. But they're found all throughout the Feywilds. But if you were going to look for them, that's probably the most guaranteed place. And yeah, Bjornheim is sort of just northeast of there.
Could we go to Bjornheim and be like, hey, do you know where we could look?
You could.
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay. So,
Maybe get some of the bare necessities if we need them.
Yes. Yes, please.
all right. So you leave or begin to leave the foundry, the forge. Ice and Rishkar following along behind you quietly, unless you guys want to have any conversations with them. Actually, I think as you're leaving, or maybe back as you get to... Actually, I think this is what happens first. As you get back to that main meeting hall area, Arnaran, who has been quiet since finishing up your forging, the two of you working together, actually separates with you in this moment as you're all entering this darkened main hall of the forge, and cast this blue light as she glides out of Sadel, and she looks sort of longingly around, and then turns back to you with a smile, Sadel, and says, I suppose you don't need me anymore.
Well, I don't want to just kick you out.
She laughs and says, I knew that this is where our paths would diverge. You have what you need to end this, and I need rest. I thank all of you for giving me this solace. The imprisonment within those stones was... I'm glad to be free, and whatever future lies ahead for those that dwell within these lands, I welcome it. I hope that you're able to end this oppression and allow us to pass on once again. Best of luck to all of you, Gale Force. And I think with that, she smiles and turns across the darkened hall and begins to walk out into the darkness. As you do, begins to sort of fade from view and then is gone. And I think shortly after that, Rishkar says, well, I suppose that brings up an interesting point. As he walks around in front of you, what is the next step for us? You're planning on returning to Bjornheim. Looks to Ice, looks back to all of you. What's the best part for us in all of this now that you're calling the shots?
Given what I know of everything, perhaps for now you two are best used as eyes around, not going into the cities or anything. Watch the roads for us, see who's traveling where and what's happening. I'm sure at some point someone has sent a message to the Queen of Magic that someone invaded the mine. We may need to know if there are more contingents of soldiers sent anywhere, where defenses are being put, who's moving where and doing what. I'm sure you two can keep out of sight.
Ice nods and chimes in and says, we can do that. Is the plan to move on the Queen of Knighted Magic or the Queen of Witches first? Or are you leaving that to discuss with the Bear King?
This is the next thing we need to decide as well.
It's a difficult choice. I know your friends are in the Shadow Desolation, and I know you very much wish to free them, so whatever decision you make, we will support it. But I think as you said, our skills lie in not being as noticed as you and your friends. I can head towards Cathar Solas and keep an eye near the mountains. Rishkar, I think, can head in the opposite direction. Begin scoping things out near the Shadow Desolation and the Ember Citadel. We can prepare on both fronts, and you can send a word when you're ready to meet with either one of us.
Then, are you happy to send the spell so we can tell them when we're moving?
Of course.
All right. They look around. Say, well, it's going to be difficult getting out of Ard. Cost time as a group. Perhaps we will hang back a bit and allow you to make your escape and then head on ourselves unless you wish for us to go first.
You throw out first. If we're the large group and if something goes wrong, there'll be more remiss for you to have to deal with. If you two are going out yourselves, I'm sure you can get out unheeded if there's an accident with us, or heavy armor, or just look at Dida, or something.
All right. Darvel safe then. Send us word when you're ready. He gives a sort of awkward look towards you, Star, and then turns on his heel.
Wait, Ice, before you go, you've never told me, what is your full name?
Let me pull that up. He smiles and says, the name given to me was Ice Gathering in the Starlight. This was one of the reasons we chose the name for you. He then continues, making his way back up the stairs, and Ice and Rishkard disappear into the darkness towards the exit. A couple awkward moments of silence pass, and the five of you now begin silently making your way up towards the. Okay.
Saddle, can you manage sneaking D dot out effectively?
Sure. Yeah, I can cast Reduce on him.
I do invisibility on Dan.
It's like super dark in here, right?
Yeah, it is very dark in here.
Okay. Goggles.
Okay. So. You all make your way back up through the stepped chamber that you first came through, with the mannequins or the statues posed, and begin making your way up towards the double doors. You can see a shaft of light piercing in, a white color from the broken doorway. And there's a breeze coming in, and this perpetual sort of snowfall that's being blown in from the outside. And as you make your way towards the doors, and you see there's that fissure from before that kind of cuts through the ice, and you all begin making your way past or through this tunnel that's been carved through. And as you reach about the halfway point of the tunnel, that wind that is hitting your face begins to stop and just cuts off. And it's just eerily still in this chamber. And then there is a tremor at your feet. And you watch as the shards of ice around you begin to fracture and splinter in all directions. This is eerie kind of three-dimensional fracturing, like spider webs and branches growing out in every direction throughout the ice as far as you can see, breaking the opacity of the shards around you. And then suddenly it just shatters into millions of pieces all around you, and you expect this impact of a mountain of ice falling, but it doesn't. It breaks, and then breaks and breaks and breaks and breaks and breaks, and then dissolves into small pieces in the air around you as this magical barrier, this spell of ice, vanishes into glistening specks of dew and moisture that hang in the air around you. And you can see the opening of the forge behind you. You can see the buildings of the giants surrounding you, and that rolling storm cloud that spins in the air above you. And as you stand there in that moment, all of a sudden the wind picks up again, blowing all the shards of ice that hang in the air away, leaving a clear expanse of opening surrounding you in every direction. And then a bolt of lightning strikes the ground about 30 or 40 feet away from you. And as the bolt of lightning hits, sears the ground, clouds are pulled down with the lightning itself and form the shape of a giant humanoid standing in front of you, a woman with purple skin. She of giant kin, easily recognizable as a storm giant, though different in sort of from the typical storm giants that any of you might have seen or encountered or heard of. She has glowing red eyes, has a green hood pulled up, just barely sort of covering her face, lightning crackling off of her hand, the clouds rolling around her. And she stands there imposing and tall, looking down at you with a detached indifference. And as she stands there, you hear or you feel more tremors as you see two other giants made of foom, 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 foom step out from either side, from some of the buildings around. One of them, not quite as tall, a female giant wearing leathers with tufts of white hair, rolling down to either side, dreaded and matted in ice. She carries a large axe dragging behind her, and you notice as her hair kind of moves aside, you see two other heads on her shoulders. So this three-headed ice giant comes stepping up as well, and then on the other side you see a gray stone giant, shaved head, some brown leathers as well. She has will look to be objects protruding from her body and from her stone-like flesh as well. You see the remnants of a tree, you see remnants of other stones, you see the remnants of like creatures, all sort of embedded and carved in stone throughout her body. And she very calmly and slowly proceeds as well. As the three of them come standing before you, there is then a last bit of movement as you see overhead, encircling and then coming closer, a black winged bird, which swoops down and then lands on the ground between you and the giant, and then forms as the spell is dropped. You see a familiar woman, tall, not as quite as tall as the giants, with flaming red hair and tanned skin. You see Natasia, the Queen of Witches. And in that emerald green robe that sort of billows around her, amorphous, cinched with a belt, the blue tattoos and markings along her face, this arcane scribing, glowing as the spell fades. She stands there barefoot on the snow and cocks her head to one side and says, "I should have known it was you that broke this barrier." Interesting.
Do we see Ice or Rishkar? No around at all?
Make a perception check.
Okay. That is perception. 19.
Okay, 19.
So quickly looking around.
And then the two of you have passed perceptions of 19 now, don't you? Okay. I think you all notice, because I don't think they're trying to be hidden from you. Between some of the buildings off the side, probably 200 feet off, you see Ice and Rishkar sort of hiding in the shadows, frightened looks on their faces as they see these giants that have approached, as they had begun to make their escape, and then seeing you in your predicament, sort of caught between knowing what to do, and they lock eyes with those of you that notice them and just give a look of, what do we do? And the storm giant woman that stands there takes a step forward, and she says, "The intruder should be killed quickly." The frost giant gives a kind of a grunt and an agreement as they pull their axe into their hands. The stone giant is quiet, and Lady Natasia holds up a hand, and she smiles, turning back to them. She says, "Now, my Jarls, this is not the best time for this. I'm interested in hearing what these strangers, these outsiders, have accomplished here today. You've broken the barrier to the forge. I imagine you wouldn't have done so unless... And she looks around over all of you and sees the weapons that you're holding, and she says, "Ah, I see. Clever. I'd say that gives you a much better chance at killing me or any of my kind than you had before. I wondered, were you heading to kill me at this moment?"
Not quite yet. We'll probably get there some point soon. We hadn't really worked out that time frame yet.
I had assumed so. That would be rather boring, though. We could probably do better than that. I don't imagine you are any more ingratiated to my sister than you have to me. Were you heading to kill Saluna, too? Or our brothers? Though from what I've heard, you've made some friends. Misakama was always sentimental of small breakable things. So kill some of us, but not all of us. Hope that changes something. From your silence, I'm assuming that that's the case.
No one has to die. You're the one who brought us here.
True. Well, my daughters brought you here. I'm willing to let you go. I'll let you leave right now if you wish. The only thing that I would want in return is take these creations, these weapons that you've made, these crude instruments. Help me a bit. If you kill Saluna, then I can easily let you leave. And all of your companions that now rot in a dungeon in the Ember Citadel, who I'm assuming you're going to rescue. Arden, Bala, Holly. Your friends, yes?
And what would you do if you were left to rule over these lands?
Bring the change that it needs. Everything has been the same here for too long. The time of the Fae is long past. It's time for them to fade into obscurity.
Do I believe her?
Make an insight check.
Okay, that's a natural 20.
Oh shit.
So 32.
Okay. Double check my math. I rolled a 31, so I think you win.
Oh, 9!
Yeah, that was actually real close. I think your deception, her insight are equal. So you're getting the sense of I think you get this innate sense of deception and manipulation to her. You don't gather that she wants all Fae. Those words were carefully chosen. I think there's some distruth to them. Falsehood to them is the word I'm looking for. Distruth. I like that better. I'm making that a word.
Right.
That you're her intentions do not seem as notable or as noble as she is attempting to put them off as.
Got it.
So, I think she senses the sort of reluctance of your group and says, I can do this on my own and continue the plans that I've been preparing for some time. But as I said when we first met, you are an unknown quantity, and perhaps you could make this a bit easier for everyone. Otherwise, it'll be another millennia of plotting and scheming and assassinations, and it grows tiresome after a while, as I'm sure you can imagine, in whatever small way your short lives can.
You mean the constant back and forth getting nowhere you've been going through for the last, I think it must be 10,000 years because you just can't get ahead?
To put it simply, yes. So, any way we can come to an arrangement there, or am I barking up the wrong tree?
So I just want to take a quick hazard as a guess here. The second we say we're not interested, you tell your friends to take care of us because something you prefer not to get your hands dirty?
Well, if we're not allied, then there isn't much that I can do. You are trespassing on their land, and I'll have to leave the Jarls to their own decisions. I'm giving you a way out, trying to help you.
A way out of the trap you set for us.
I didn't set this trap. Though I am using it to my advantage, I will admit that. Fine. Then I guess we end with the boring resolution to all of this. There is one thing that bothers me, though. Being able to use the forge, that does pose some issues. I honestly don't care if any of you live or die. You can do whatever you want and live the short lives here that you're left to live. I'm sure you can escape from the Jarls and the giants here. You've shown yourselves to be very powerful. However, I can't allow this skill, this knowledge of crafting these items to leave this place. So, sorry. And she looks over to you, Sadel. And she whispers a word under her breath. And the air seems to shake as she speaks this unknown word to any of you. And Sadel, you feel a pain in your chest. And you all hear a thud as Sadel's body falls to the ground.
Oh gosh.
Won't I go over to him and try to pick him up?
He is cold, unmoving, his eyes open, staring at the sky. I assumed you had less than 100 hit points.
Yeah.
And as this happens, and there's this sort of again, this tension, this silence that cuts through the air, and you see Rishkar and Ice frozen. And Natasha looks with a feigned pain on her face at that, and she says, "It is a shame, though. Well, for now, I guess." And she...
quick thing. How far away from me is she?
About 40 feet.
Cool, I'm going to test something out. I'm going to wing my new dagger at her.
Do it.
Go.
Yeah, that counts as roll 29.
Yeah.
No, daggers D4s. That is 11 points of damage.
Okay, 11 points damage. And here's something I think shocking in that moment is that the dagger hits and it plunges into her arm, and you see red begin to stain the green cloth. And she looks at this slow motion, sort of looks down at the dagger just before it sort of rips out of her arm, and then returns back to your hand. And that sort of feigned mask of indifference and this air of superiority sort of fades in that moment, and she looks up at you with this white-hot rage across her face, and you see her hair begin to rise and crack with electricity of arcane power, and you see her face kind of contort into a sneer as she hisses in your direction, and she kind of screeches at you, and she says, "You should not have done that." And there is again this sort of powerful energy and this like distortion to the light around her almost in that moment, and she begins to whisper something else under her breath and begins to incant again, and you see the giants behind her also begin to step forward, and then suddenly from the distance you hear the sound of a horn just echoing in the distance, this low horn that seems to echo over the surrounding the stone buildings, and everything sort of freezes for a moment. That all that anger and that fury that is building suddenly cuts and stops, and she looks just slightly over her shoulder, and you hear the horn again, this a little bit closer this time. She shakes her head. "This isn't over." And she waves her hands, and there is this kind of spinning of the cloth and the red kind of all into a fury, and then there is a kind of a sucking noise of a vacuum closing, and then she is gone. And just the three giants remain standing there, continuing to move towards you. One of them turns back, the storm giant turns back as the other two continue to proceed forward, and you hear this sort of rumbling noise, this of rocks shaking, and this slow kind of tremor around you, similar to before, beginning to pick up. You see Saddle on the ground again. You said you went to grab him and to pick him up, and you pick up his cold body. Didar is freaking out right now, and is kind of nudging Saddle, and as the giants are moving towards you, the frost giant begins to bring up an axe to cut down at all of you, and there is a hissing through the air, and an arrow kind of protrudes out through the front of the of the giant's shoulder, and the giant lets out a bellowing roar as it turns, and you see coming and pouring from between the buildings in the direction as smoke and dust and debris are kicked up like a cloud around you. You see hundreds and hundreds of riders come pouring into this clearing. You see horses, you see wolves, dire wolves, you see elk and all of them with riders on top of them in dark greens, grays, obscured with sort of nature foliage around them, yelling and kind of calling as they make their way into this clearing, and they begin to whelm over the giants who are roaring and swinging wildly, hitting riders left and right. And a few of them begin to ride over towards you. There were 3 riders specifically that come alongside all of you. One of them riding a giant elk, an elven woman. There is it looks to be like a dwarven man that is riding what seems to be some sort of drake or lizard creature. And the last one, a human that seems to be riding a like a dark horse. And they ride up alongside of you, and the woman, the elven woman, looks down and holds out a hand towards Den, indicating that she's to pull you up onto the horse, or onto the elk.
Okay.
So each one of you is offered a hand and offered a up onto one of the mounts. Do you all go willingly?
I don't want giants tearing me limb from limb, so yes.
Yeah, basically, that does not sound like a good option.
Okay.
And we're like, come on, Dino.
All right. Yeah, I think...
Oh, he's a little, though.
Oh, yeah, you did shrink Didar. So I think...
I'm gonna grab him.
Yeah, you grab Didar, pull him up onto the drake, on the back of the drake with the dwarf is riding on, and go riding off as well. And with thunder again, as you then leave the giants behind you, you go peeling off and riding south as the whole this horde, then continuing kind of cutting through the lower reaches of Ard Kostrheim, begin to pour and circle around, and then back towards the east, or towards the west, into the forests and over the hills. And along the way, Den, you're just still holding Sadel's body. Okay. So you ride for the next 20 or 30 minutes. Just this thunder around you, and you hear the horn call once again. And as the horn sounds, the whole herd seems to cut in unison, taking a more southern trajectory, deeper and deeper and deeper into the wilderness. The tall trees stretching up over you that the riders effortlessly cut between, this herd moving in sort of in perfect synchronicity. And after that 30 or 45 minutes of riding, suddenly begins to slow, or slowly begins to slow. And the riders begin to cut in sort of a half going one way, half going another way. They begin to sort of circle the wagons a bit, and all kind of circle up with your riders leading you towards the center of this group. And as this herd of hundreds and hundreds of riders circle around you, leaving an open space at the center, riders kind of help you down, get you off their mounts, and leave you at the center as they go and rejoin the remainder of the riders around, who stay on their mounts and just kind of form a loose perimeter around you, leaving you at the center. with Sato.
I can fix this. I'm gonna lay him on the ground. I'm so sad. And yeah, I'm gonna lay him on the ground. I don't care what the rest of them are doing. I'm going to take out one of my big diamonds and I'm gonna try to cast Raise Dead on him.
Okay. All right. So, as the spell is being cast and Den begins to prepare for this ritual, you all notice and can help as well. So we're going to go ahead and do our revival check. Let me get the rules out for this. So, as Den begins to conduct the ritual, is, I guess, all of you that are still living. Are you going to help? Star and Tova.
I don't know how this works.
So, that's fine. This is sort of loosely or kind of based on the Critical Role resurrection rules. Yeah. And so essentially, if you want to, so Anna's going to be making a check to bring him back, and you guys can assist in that by making checks yourselves to sort of to aid this role. So just describe to me something you want to do to assist in this ritual. It doesn't have to be lengthy or anything. Just some sort of offering, personal significance you might want to make to aid. And Lil can do something too if one of you aren't like the biggest Saddle fans and don't want to help.
Screw Saddle. He's had his time.
He lives a long life.
Oh, Sarah wants to help.
All I am gonna do is kneel down next to him, just take his hand in the claw, stab the dagger in the ground, and just say, "Come on, you've gone through hell with us. You can get through this."
Okay. Go ahead and make a. I think like a charisma check is probably the closest there.
12.
12. Okay. That actually will succeed on the first one. So that you concentrate and focus and sort of try to connect with Sadell a bit, knowing that what Den is trying to do, seeing this having been done before a long time ago. And
except this is a much bigger spell.
Yeah. Something similar to this being done. Okay. So, Tova, what are you doing?
I need a minute, but Sarah just chatted what she wants to do
Okay.
in Discord.
Okay. So I think Lilibet kind of throws her stuff to the side and goes rummage around in her bag quickly and pulls out a wineskin, which she goes and kind of kneels next to Den and Star and pops open the cork of it. And kind of tilts Sadell's head back and just pours a little bit of wine down his throat. And she lays his head back down and sort of scowls at him and says, "This isn't your time, buddy. Come on. I said that you promised me a big family meal when we got back, so wake up." And she's gonna make I think she'll do a charisma check too. Somebody want to roll for her?
So stressful.
Just roll a d20. I'll tell you what the modifier is.
I'll do it. That's a natural 20.
Nice. And her modifier is a +5. So that's really good.
Another one.
All right. And one more person can do something to help if they want.
Okay. Den, did you have something, or you're doing the spell?
I don't know. Can I do both?
Yeah, you can do both.
Okay, yeah. While I'm doing the thing, I guess I'm just like around him, like making a ritual circle, I guess, and carving like all of the traditional symbols and stuff, but like within I don't know what I'm using, like just a stick or something I found on the ground, I guess, but within the patterns I want to add in the bell of Orisha. Isn't that his god?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, so glad I remembered that. And I just want to add them into the pattern, like along the edges of the circle. So that maybe his goddess is with us too.
Okay. Make a wisdom check.
Okay. I'm using a big shiny dice. Oh, that's good, that's good. 17?
17. Okay.
Jeez.
All right. And as you carve that in the ground too, all the foundations are set for the spell. Each of you making your own personal connection with the spell itself. Then you begin the ritual and the casting of it in the attempts to bring Saddle back. Okay. I just had to roll anything but a 1, really. So, you cast the spell. The diamond shatters, glowing, and then the dust, or the dust of the diamond kind of transforms into like raw, radiant energy, which then kind of settles down into Sadel. And as his body begins to glow, the glow kind of settling out, extending to his fingers and toes and to his face as well. It radiates for a moment and then diminishes. And I think you all notice too, as you're focused on the spell, part of this circle around you parts, and you begin to watch as a rider on a tall black steed slowly begins riding into the clearing in your direction, just as this spell is fading. And as the spell concludes, you all see as Saddle's eyes begin to flutter and then open, looking up. And Saddle, you see all of your friends standing above you.
Oh, what happened?
I just scoop him up. Like, oh.
Oh, thanks.
Are you alive?
Yeah. I think he might need
can't
to
breathe.
Oh. Sorry. Oh, D-Dog, come here.
What happened?
You died.
By the looks of things, she has some insanely powerful magic. Can I roll to see if I recognize the spell?
Sure. Make an Arcana check. Saddle, you can too if you want.
Heck yes.
Just gonna point it out while everybody's rolling. Sadel is gonna take like a big old penalty right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, you are at a -4 penalty on all attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks. And that's reduced by 1 every time you take a long rest.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to sleep for a little bit.
Yeah. Is that Arcana, right?
By the way.
Yeah, Arcana. So 24 and then
11.
11. Good if you're remembering the -4. So Sadel, your mind is still too muddled right now. As even with as close as you came to that spell, still not able to fully identify it. You have heard. As far like you said before, something very powerful, almost unheard of. Other than cast in a magic wielded by the gods themselves, a spell capable of killing a mortal with a single word, a power word kill. And it's almost a mythical spell, but that is what you identify that as.
So she can cast even the strongest of enchantment magics. She could, if a person, like a mortal, she could kill them again with a word. We have to find some way around that, maybe, or find some way to stop her casting it again. I think I may have an immediate solution to that. Like, in case she tries to do it, if we can someone could just silence the area around her.
I can actually do that.
I think you all hear a voice from behind you, or from that rider that is approaching, and you all look at the same time as this rider says, "You'll have more to deal with than that if you intend to fight Natasia again." And you see the rider as he approaches. You see a tall, muscular man, shirtless, except for some rags and bound leathers and belts across his arms and waist. You see scarring and or scarification and tattoos that brand his almost every inch of exposed skin. Long brown hair, kind of a brown beard as well, wearing a hood that has of white fur that has 2 large elk antlers affixed to it that extend out to both sides. And from under the hood, you see the face of a rugged elven man with glowing green eyes. And you see the horn at his side, indicating the one that might have been resounding that from before. And as he kind of comes alongside you on his horse, I think slings off to one side and falls almost silently down to the forest floor beside you. And he has a stoic look on his face, and he says, "Misa Carmen told me where to find you. I am the Lord of the Wild Hunt, and I believe you have business with me."
Yeah.
"We should speak then." He looks around, sees his riders, and he kind of holds up his hand. And as he does, the riders all begin to dismount and begin to set up their camps in the area, kind of encircling where you guys are, and begin to set up camp for the night. So for the sake of this, we'll actually, we'll go to break right now. I think this is a good place to go to break then. Let's go ahead and take our break here as we sort of cut forward to camp being set up and the conversation had with the Lord of the Wild Hunt. and we will come back. So 10 minutes, everyone. Sound good? Sound good? Okay. BRB 10 minutos. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for bearing with us with our 10-minute break. Kept it pretty on time. Thank you to our new chief break coordinator, Morgan.
All right.
All right. If you missed anything before, as our announcements go, anything that you might have missed, check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GGameKnights. That's 2 G's and a K. And we got a lot of great stuff coming on this week. If you want to know our lineup, just scroll down a bit on this Twitch page. If you're watching on Twitch, if you're not, head over to our Twitch page, and we've got our lineup there below. Okay, let's get back to it. So we're going to kind of cut forward in time a bit. Maybe you spend the next few hours kind of patching up some wounds and stuff. Some of you are still kind of hurt from the forge and the fight with Golem and everything. So you get prepared as the camp around you is built in this perpetual twilight. The Wild Hunt, very adept at setting up their accommodations very quickly, and this whole campsite is just sort of springs into existence around you. And at the center of it, where you are now sitting, is the you sit across a large bonfire. We're sitting on the ground, not in an ornate throne or anything, just simply has pulled over a stone that he is now sitting on, and is resting his elbows on his knees and staring across at all of you, the Lord of the Wild Hunt. And as you've had your time to relax and patch your wounds a bit, Saddle kind of no longer spinning from the day's events, the Lord speaks out, or finally addresses you and says, "So, I've heard some from what my scouts have reported. You've been causing a bit of disruptions from the way that I see things." He holds up a hand. "Not necessarily a bad thing. We enjoy the disruptions to the status quo here." Mr. Carmen has reported to me that you're seeking to cast down the queens. Is this still true?
Honestly, today I think it's more true.
Good. Looks over all of you. I see you've done something that hasn't been accomplished in lifetimes. Gestures towards the weapons that you now hold. I'd be interested to know the secrets behind these. I've been searching for those myself for what feels like an eternity. One of you is muted. Simba. Take your time.
Remember to turn on your mic, Simba.
Remember.
Okay, breathe. It's some very rare ore we found where the mine is currently full of monsters. I don't know if that's going to be a huge threat to you. And an ancient magical forge older than any of us could imagine, because only one of us could work thanks to the help of a ghost.
I think he cocks an eyebrow at that. Rather succinct summarization of the events. And he nods, says, "Oh, I'm afraid that after today's events, operating the forge again may not be as easy as it was before. I can only imagine the giant kitten now take up heavier patrols around the area, knowing that there's access to it now, and it's only a matter of time before Natasha gets her hands on the ore necessary to construct weapons herself. I fear their use more in her hands than any."
Well, luckily for you, we come bearing gifts. That would have been way funnier if I'd said it to the Bear King. I'll hold on to that one for later.
Yeah, so I guess I've got his longbow.
Dude.
So I guess it would make sense if I give it to him and...
Okay. So you sort of shift around the fire and present the bow to him.
Sorry, we don't really have the time and energy to stand on ceremony.
He holds the bow. He stands there by the fire, and quick, almost faster than perceptible, or than that is perceptible to the naked eye, very quickly draws the bow back, inspects it a bit, and then relaxes. And as he holds it in his hand, he says, "You made this."
Yes, sir.
Well, I see that elven weaponry still holds the same quality, even where you come from. I accept your gift. And he takes the bow and just sort of leans it beside him, sitting back down. I suppose that gifts are not the only reason you've come, though. I find that most gifts precede favors.
Exactly so, and we hope you're willing to help us in deposing the two queens.
I am willing to lend our hands to such an endeavor. It is my purpose here, after all, to maintain a sense of balance. The balance that we have between the two of them now has been upheld by my hand. However, it is quickly wavering, and only a matter of time before it shifts one way or another. I'm willing to lend a hand to your cause, to establish a more permanent order to things. However, there are some favors that I would ask in return.
And they are?
There are many atrocities that stalk these lands, things that I have fought for some time since I was placed here. None I fight more fiercely than the corruption and the abominations that are brought on by the witch covens that stalk the desolation. Natasha is not the first matriarch of the Grand Coven. She is merely the successor to its rule. Before her stood the great witch Baba Yaga, whom I am sure you have heard of, as most mortals have. Since her demise, Natasha has taken that role for herself. I had thought when I struck down the matriarch that the rest would scatter. However, it has not played out how I wished it to. In fact, I believe they are stronger, more unified now than they were before. Killing Natasha and ending the Coven's reign here, preventing them from gaining the power that they seek, that I desire more than anything else. That would be my primary goal, the first step that would need to be taken to forging this alliance between your group and ours. If this is accomplished, we will gladly turn our mounts and ride to Cather Solos along with you, and end the reign of the Queen of Night and Magic as well.
I think that's fair.
Knowing Natasha has the crew and also her current issues with us, I think she needs to be dealt with first.
Good. There's more to this, though. Natasha is the matriarch now of the Coven. But we need to ensure that none step into her place when we strike her down. Otherwise, we are destined to repeat the same steps again and again. What I failed to recover the first time was the grimoire held by Baba Yaga. That we will need to find, claim, and destroy to ensure that this does not happen again. If you can recover the grimoire, and at the very least present it to me so that we may destroy it, that would fulfill this bargain.
And after that?
And then we complete our task and right this balance, ending the reign of the Fey Queen. Fortunately, Natasha should be keeping the grimoire close to her. I would guess that it is in her quarters of Turgelach, or within the Ember Citadel, kept with her consort. As I understand it, you have companions kept within the Ember Citadel as well. My offer would be this, then. We have the forces to infiltrate the Citadel, something that you do not have on your own. We ride to the Citadel together, rescue your companions, ensure that they are safe. From there, I will accompany you to Turgelach, where we can take on and strike down Natasha.
Can I insight check this guy?
Sure.
Yeah, I have that too.
Ooh, well, I rolled a 1. So 10.
I'm just very insightful tonight. That's another 20, so 32.
Oh, wow. I think, okay, so there are a couple things going on here. Den, yeah. What does that bring your total to? I assume you don't have like a plus 20 or something.
10.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hard to tell. You're not getting any honesty from him. And neither are you, Tova. You're not it doesn't seem like he is trying to mislead you. He is a very enigmatic individual, and it's hard to get a good read on him. But there are two things that strike out to you, and I'm kind of gonna roll this insight check into more than just his intentions. You're noticing a few things about him, and you've been in the Feywild for a while now. The first thing you notice is this individual is much older than he appears, as most are, but more so than the other Fey nobles that you've seen. And in fact, the more you look at him, the more that you're not quite sure that he's Fey.
Okay.
But as far as sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't get the general feeling of distruth that I got from the Natasha.
No, it doesn't seem like he's trying to mislead you. I mean, he has a very commanding persona. He's definitely trying to captain the ship here a bit and give his own plan. And you gather not there. He doesn't come from a position where anybody's really questioned his leadership before. Doesn't necessarily seem like he's gonna kill somebody that tries to indicate something else, but you definitely are getting this impression of he's giving this plan and he's telling you guys what to do. And
this is how it's gonna be.
Well, more so, he's not expecting you to come up with anything else. He might not have the highest opinion of you, but
To be fair, we didn't exactly have a plan yet.
But again, it's not a hostility. It's more of I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm usually the one in charge. So how you guys want to respond to that and deal with that is up to you. But so he sort of leans back a bit away from the fire and says, if this plan is agreeable to your group as well, then I think this is our best course of action. I can offer any insight that you may need into the queens themselves. I've crossed blade and bow with them occasionally over the years.
So you have no qualms about killing your sisters?
They are not my sisters.
Oh?
No.
All right.
Why do you maintain this position of balance? Is it by your own doing, or?
It was the task I was given. I went a little more Bane there than I meant to. It was the task I was given by the ones that put me here.
And you'll continue to uphold that balance once the queens are gone?
I will. My hope is that this war, this silent war that has been waged for millennia, that once it ends, the balance will maintain itself. But I will be here, a sentinel until the end, however long that will be.
Well, I have no objections. The rest of you?
I think it's as good a plan as any.
Seriously.
Shadow, wake up.
Sorry, just dying really takes a lot out of you.
Imagine.
Yeah, it's as good a plan as any.
Well, are there questions you have for me then?
You mentioned earlier about what we'd have to face when we finally have to fight Natasha. That would need more than a weapon to count it for one spell. Would you be able to elaborate on that, about what else she could do or what she may have waiting for us?
Well, I suppose you've witnessed the worst of it. She has a powerful command of magic. On par, almost, with Selûne herself. Her power comes with her subordinates, though. From the Coven. It's not the power of one, it's the power of many that she wields. She has, as a former disciple or apprentice to Selûne, a understanding and a control of magic that mortals have not been able to replicate. She controls and has an ability to control the weave itself. Again, not at the same level or to the same skill as Selûne, but close. That is where your difficulties will lie. If you do not have the means of negating or countering her magics, then you will have some difficulty facing her.
If we have greater numbers, targeting and distracting or taking down the Coven, not so much of an issue then.
No. If she's struck down, then the Coven will fall. But as she stands, the Coven will fight for her. As I said, to get to her, you will undoubtedly have to face her children, her daughters, as she puts it.
We have business with them as well.
Well,
Taking them down will certainly get more of her attention as well. She already knows we're coming.
yes, I doubt you'll have the element of surprise, but perhaps isolating her would put you at a significant advantage. We may be able to help with that in some regard. Making sure that she cannot call too many to her side and overwhelm you. Not just her coven, but the shade gnomes that also flock to her and look to her for guidance within the Ember Citadel. We weaken their forces. And also ensuring that her consort, the former Moonlit King, is unable to flock to her side.
Just in case, what do you know about this Moonlit King?
He is a oddity, another abomination of these lands, the former king of Cather Solas, the former consort of the Queen of Night and Magic, cast out as Natasia was, clung to her side.
Awkward.
I would say so. as he has pledged his loyalty to Natasia. He has taken up her proclivity towards the arcane and the dark practices that can accompany it. He consorts with fiends and demons by the rumors that have reached my ears. Would not benefit you to have him engaged in the fight as well. But he, from what I've been able to gather, takes up his residence within the Ember Citadel, conducting his experiments on the prisoners kept there.
So, okay. We need numbers and we need the plan to separate everything out before we strike. On our way, we can travel to Bjornheim, meet up with Bear King, pick up him and his men so they can march with us. A bigger force is just a louder shout. They know we're coming. Why not let them know we're really coming?
So you recommend we take Misakamen's forces and make our way to the Ember Citadel as a full front?
I can't see a situation where planning a small strike would help here. It seems with the Coven, where one falls, there will always be another to replace it. If we can take down a mass, though, or separate things in greater numbers, we stand a better chance. It seems a lot of our power seems to be centered in gathering everything in one place, so why don't we go to that one place?
He crosses his hands in front of him and sort of folds them under his chin. Says, "You may be right. My only fear is that the armies of Bjornheim are slow, cumbersome. They will not move quickly through these wilds, as mine do. If we move with them to the Ember Citadel, we will have a larger force to siege the gates, perhaps finding more success there. You are right. But it also exposes our flank, should the forces of Cather Solas march on us as well. Seluna will undoubtedly be aware of our efforts.
She'll be aware, but damaging our forces there would only protect her sister's rule, correct?
Correct.
Unless she wants to maintain this balance that's going on, then it would be detrimental to her interests. She'd want to take us down as soon as we finished, that is certain. By that point, I hope we can hold ourselves up in the Citadel to provide a defense.
If we can claim it, then that would be our best means of preventing a war on two fronts.
Okay, Denwin, if you can message the Bear King, we start marching at the same time. We should be able to beat his forces there, and they follow up on our rear. They can protect that flank if anything comes to attack us, and they can be the battering rams to get us through the gates if need be. Any giantkin that are also following up on the trail, they'd also have to get past the Bear King's men as well.
That's a good plan, Star, but I don't think Misakamen will leave his people undefended. He cares for them too much. I don't think he'd be willing to risk leaving them.
You provide a fair point. I fear if the forces of Bjornheim were to march alongside us, so would the citizens as well. If we cannot find a safe place for them to find sanctuary in that time. What of the Lord of the Rivers?
He provided us with a key to get into the forge. Aside from that, he decided he'd prefer to stay out of the fight.
He will not leave his people.
A shame, then. Well, you can try your hand at convincing Isakamen to abandon his people. Or find another way.
Well, if you say that your men can move as quickly as they say they can, they might not need to. But you should be aware that as soon as we move on the Ember Citadel, that there's a chance you could be expecting an attack from Cather Solas. We should warn him about that.
Seluna will demand fealty, or undoubtedly send her forces to raid and pillage his lands. And thus you understand why we've been at this stalemate for some time.
Then, can you get a message to the Bear King asking him two things? One, how an approximate size of a force he could send out to help out and watch our back. And two, if he needed to move his people quickly and swiftly to a different location, how long would he need?
Yeah, I can do that. I'll send him a message. Do a sending spell. And on the end of the message, I just tack on, "We got you a great gift, too."
Okay. I think you, there's a few seconds, and you get a reply. I think he could send, without, okay, we'll just sort of expedite this. Without completely abandoning the city, could send about a third of his force comfortably and still maintain defense of the city. Maybe a half, which, judging by their sizes, they're probably about 250 soldiers. As far as moving the people there, depending on where they were moving to and how well provisioned they would need to be, could move them, or could have the city evacuated within a day if the location was close. It might be closer to 3 if they needed provisions enough to take for a longer journey. And I think his question is simply, where would you be moving them?
If you can send again, give him the best rundown of, we plan to take the Ember Citadel as part of our attack. We're expecting Seluna's forces to march on us and possibly you the second we're done. If we can get them holed up with a larger force defending everything, we stand a chance. I want to cover all grounds here.
Okay.
Okay. So I think here's what comes of the sending spells. That if you don't have a place in mind that you want to take them, then the best bet, if you were going to evacuate the city, he's kind of sort of picking up on what you're trying to do, is he could send a small force with the citizens of the city, a fraction, a quarter or a tenth of his fighting force, to defend them and move them south into the foothills near the outskirts of the range of the Wild Hunt. At least get them out of the city where they may be able to be safe for a short period of time. Is willing to do that. It would take about 2 days to get the provisions that they would need to make that possible.
I could definitely use the rest.
True. So could move them south, but the force would have to move fast, and then he could immediately take the bulk of his fighting force and begin marching towards the Ember Citadel, effectively abandoning Bjornheim. If that is the plan that you'd want to go with.
I just asked the Lord of the Wild Hunt quickly. Can you... I understand you're planning on sending in a sizable force with us, but will you maintain at least a patrol around here to keep things in balance? And if the Black King's men do come down here, they have the extra bit of protection or scouts they would need to stay safe.
He says, I had planned on maintaining a few scouts in the northern reaches to keep an eye on Cather Solas. I can perhaps spare a small force to escort the citizens of Bjornheim. However, if Seluna learns of our plans and sends any sizable party to intercept the citizenry, there will only be so much we could do in an undefensible position.
I feel no matter what we do, we're gambling with others' lives. Even if we left them in Bjornheim, even if we didn't take them in, we could. If we can also contact Miskar and I, ask them to act as the advanced scout for that group.
Oh no, continue. Sorry.
It's a better chance. Do you all have any opinions on this? This battle planning thing is kind of new to me.
I think people are going to die either way. But I think Bjornheim is a huge target. At least if they move into the foothills, they won't just be sitting where she knows where to find them.
Well, I think this plan will work as good as any. Having the additional fighting force there will put us in a good position. We shouldn't try to prolong the combat by staking our hold of the Ember Citadel if we're concerned of the people of Bjornheim being stranded in the Feywilds, but it does provide us with a more advantageous position. So, the plan is, I'm assuming now, to intercept the armies of Bjornheim, proceed in with my riders to storm the gates, enter the Ember Citadel, rescue your companions, end the Moonlit King, and perhaps claim the Grimoire for ourselves. From there, we will take a small force, ride north to Turkalach, where we can incapacitate the Coven and end Natasia there. And then I suppose...
No matter what, she's consolidating her power. If we force that to do that somewhere specific instead of wherever she wants, we can pin her down, at least.
She will consolidate her power at Turkalach. That is where the focus of her magic is. It's where the Coven rests. I doubt she will leave that place once the attack begins. And she has no love of the Ember Citadel, and any affection she shows her consort, I doubt it's enough to come to his aid should we attack. So, undoubtedly, I believe that fight will be on her. Well, it'll be on her ground. We must be ready for that. But we can claim the Citadel for ourselves, and with the weapons you have, I think we stand the best chance of striking down the Queen of Witches there.
The focus of her magic, is that like an actual thing? Like an object?
Assuming you've seen the tower, the crystal that rests at the focus of the pinnacle of it is a massive thing. Which you have seen before. I don't know if you remember, it's just been some time. I don't know what warding protects it if you're thinking of destroying that. That would... I know not if that is the source of her power, but destroying that, or weakening it, would potentially weaken the Coven. I believe they draw their power from that more directly. If you have some means of destroying it, then that might give you the window you need to face her alone.
We've destroyed some ancient magical objects, rich shrines, things. I'm sure we'll find a way.
Fair. I'll leave that to you then. And then once we've struck down the Queen of Witches, we turn our forces to Cathar Solas. I fear making any plan of attack there would only serve to weaken us in the end. The forces of Selûne would be difficult to predict. Likely she has spies that would simply thwart any efforts we make. Responding to the situation may be the best way of approaching that.
Thankfully, that's what we're best at. I've never gotten to plan ahead like this before. It's strange.
So, I suppose that's it, unless you have any further questions for me, insights into either of the queens that I can provide. I will provide one warning, however. Any power that Atasia commands over the arcane pales in comparison to that of Saluna. She is a force of nature, of herself, and reliance on magic and of your own power may serve to your detriment in facing her. Be prepared for that. Well, I will leave you to your rest then. We will begin our ride in, I suppose, 2 days' time, after Bjornheim has had its opportunity to prepare. He, without any more words, stands up from the fire and wanders deeper into the camp.
Okay, so we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good knack for planning, Star. Could be a general.
Thank you. Things I've done before, I'm used to having to think about things thoroughly. I've covered as much as I think I can here. I'm hoping it's unpredictable.
I think it's the best we've got.
Not so sure about the Lord of the Hunt. I wish I knew more about, I don't know, whoever put him here. That seemed a little...
I don't get the impression he's going to tell us anytime soon.
I think a little bit sitting there kind of trying to say, I mean, it couldn't hurt to ask.
You alright? Your face is kind of,
You
Just
sound
what?
a bit nasally as
I don't know,
well.
red.
I mean, I feel okay. Maybe have a slight cold. All right, I've had a little bit to drink then. We're about to go fight powerful, ancient elf creatures, and you know, it's a lot, you know.
Have you got any more wineskins on you?
Yeah, and just grabs a few more out of her bag,
Glug, glug, glug.
passes them around. And there's food provided too. I think that you find that the hunt, as their name might have suggested, hunted some food and provides it evenly throughout the camp. So, anything else you guys want to do? Conversations you want to have? You want to track down the Lord of the Hunt and ask him about his backstory, or just sleep?
I think Lil wants to ask him about a few things. Tova, will you help me with something? You're muted.
Oh no, is her mic not working?
Oh no, this is terrible.
I can hear you now.
Is that better?
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh no, it stopped again. It started and stopped. That was the weirdest thing.
Stupid mic. Is that better?
Oh, no, it started and then it's. We heard you say it's better. Then you did something and then it stopped again. Oh no.
This at all? Huh?
We can hear you there.
Okay. I don't know what I did. We're just gonna go with that.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna have to deal with this later.
that's fine.
My mic is. I think I need to get a new mic. It keeps doing this to me. Anyways.
Oh no.
What do you need help with then?
Just come here. I'm gonna like go off into the woods. Roll sketchy like.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You lead Tova off into the woods.
Okay. Sadel knows about this, and I would ask him to help me, but he's really, really weak right now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hurt him. So, new flail, super cool. Does a lot of the same things as the old one, except the old one is kind of cursed.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's been that way for a really long time, and I think it's getting worse.
What does it do?
Well, it used to just like, I don't know, the first time it just like made me really angry, you know, and had more trouble than normal, I guess, kind of controlling myself, especially when there's a fight around. And then I didn't have it for a little while because Sadel was working on it, and then I got it back. And then the second time around, it got worse. And now if I hurt something and don't kill it, it hurts me.
Oh.
Yeah.
That does sound like a curse.
Yeah, and that sucks. But I want to go into this with a clear head. And I want to try to break it. But I was kind of afraid to do it by myself in case something really bad happens.
Yeah.
So I want to try, and I guess if something happens, just knock me out.
Okay. Do you think... Do I have to take it from you?
I don't know. Like, I've got a couple of spells that get rid of curses, but I'm kind of scared to do it.
Okay, well, I'm here.
Okay. If I go nuts, just like punch me really hard.
Alright.
Okay, I'm gonna try to remove curse myself.
Okay, so you're just gonna cast remove curse on yourself?
Should I do greater restoration? I feel like it does the same thing.
I mean, remove curse specifically removes curses.
Does it?
I think so. Greater restoration doesn't. It breaks. Yeah, no, it can also remove curses. Yeah, so greater restoration also does the benefits of remove curse. So either one would work.
I'm gonna try to remove curse myself.
Okay. Using remove curse, using the spell makes this a lot less dramatic because you cast the spell, and it removes your curse. So
Is that it?
yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
I'm not going to ruin the spell by also making you make like a saving throw or something, because that's
Okay.
what would have happened if you just did it on your own. So yeah, I mean, essentially you cast a spell. I'd say there's might be some hesitation. There's like this like dark presence in your mind for a moment, that he sort of feels that edge of the battle and knows that this is coming, and it's like kind of sort of like, take me with you. It's like, strike them down together and all that, and you kind of push through that, and you cast the spell, and that darkness is cast out by the light of this energy, this radiant energy granted you by Seraphine, and you drop the flail from your hand, and that battle lust, that desire to fight, begins to fade.
Just like put my hand on her shoulder. Feel all right?
Yeah. Okay.
What do we do with that now? And points at the flail that's on the ground.
I don't know. Really sort of thought something more dramatic would happen. Yeah, alright.
Well, sometimes it's good when you don't have to fight something.
The eye holes for one of the skulls is forlornly looking at you.
I don't know, I guess I could just put it away. Because if I remember correctly, it wasn't cursed until I attuned to it the first time. Okay, well, I guess I'll just put it in the bag then. Thanks.
Anytime.
That was fun, I guess. Sorry to have bothered you.
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
I'm sorry I didn't make that dramatic enough.
Oh, that's great. I feel great about it.
No, you took the time to use the spell, so I'm gonna reward you for that.
Too much drama today.
Yeah. So yeah, you were able to put the flail away and attune to your new one, which is not cursed yet.
I should have made it sentient. And my flaw goes away.
Yep.
And also the ouchies.
Also that, yeah.
No more ouchies.
That's nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
So,
Magic is great.
then realizing I can use my spells to avoid ouchies.
Well, I didn't know if like something bad was gonna happen. Last time I unattuned to it and then attuned to it again, it tried to like eat me.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Well, it didn't. No, it didn't literally try to eat me. It tried to eat my vitality. And then there was that one time when I tried to talk to a Kraken idol and it melted my brain. And then I had a really bad experience messing with things.
Whoa.
So, you take that night to do that. Anybody else doing anything over the next day or two? And you're sending ice to you're alerting ice of the plan, and
I guess.
I get the reason not to, but at the minute, I feel like that would be the bad idea.
Fine.
you're really waiting for them to betray you.
Stupid.
I am
dad
like-
better-
I am like 25% sure that there's going to be a betrayal somewhere. It's like, it's gotten smaller, but it's still there.
Lurking.
Okay, so I tell him. I don't tell him the whole plan.
Okay.
Though, I just give him the most basic of details that he needs to know to scout. I don't tell him anything about Bjornheim or anything like that.
Okay, so you don't tell him that the citizens from Bjornheim are heading.
No, I definitely don't. I actively don't tell him that.
Okay, but you tell him that the plan is to. Do you at least tell him the plan is to go attack the Shadow Desolation, and then make your way over to?
Yeah, I tell him we're going for the Queen of Witches first.
Okay. So I'm gonna assume that's all you're saying then. We're going for the Queen of Witches first.
Yep.
Okay. Fair enough. Do you tell Rishgar the same thing?
There's this like tiny voice in my brain that's like, don't tell him. Just leave it. I guess.
Okay. Good to know. So you have 2 days of rest, so you guys get your healing and all that. Sadel, you reduce your penalty by 2, so you're only at -2 for everything. And I'd say on the 3rd day upon waking and preparing the yes.
I remembered a thing I wanted to do for like a month. I'm going to find a little spot in the woods and build a little shrine to Seraphine and see if it will count as a sanctuary, and I'm going to cast Word of Recall on it.
Okay. Need to remember what Word of Recall does. Okay, so 6th level spell. All right. Okay, so you know up to 5 only creatures, 5 feet. Okay, so you're casting it now. Before, so you're casting that like a day before, so you have that spell.
Yes, so it's late.
Okay.
That would be the save point.
The save point you come back. Okay. So we're gonna assume that you guys are about. I'm just gonna ping the spot on the map where you guys are about at, and so put you guys about right here, near where this lake is.
Nice.
So if you recall, that's where you're gonna trace her back to.
Total recall.
No, 5-person recall.
Well, okay.
Now it's you and up to 5 people, right? No, yeah, you and up to 5 willing creatures. So at the time comes, I think that's everyone in the party, and then 2 more.
Okay.
Gil.
Oh, that's interesting because Gil is a separate creature. Oh, and Didar.
Oh, and Didar.
So us.
So just you. Okay.
So us.
Yeah, that works.
Sorry.
What about Reginald? Well,
Bye.
he's just kind of attached to me. Is he part of me?
Well, that's the weird part about. Oh, here's what
I kind of wear him.
Yeah, well, and okay, I'm gonna say the same thing about Gil and Reginald. Is that as long as like Gil's in your pocket and Reginald's in your backpack, they will come with you. I'll allow that. Didar is a different story. So you could potentially bring one other person with you, whoever that might be. Okay. So you get to decide to save one person should everything go bad. All right. And so the next day after casting that spell, so you take the time to like sanctify that area and say some prayers on the riverbank there, and engraving Seraphine's symbol into a stone on the bank of the rivers. And upon casting the spell, you feel that holy energy kind of come out from you and sort of imbue into the land and the waters there. And I think you realize like this will work. That this is close enough to a holy place. You've made this a holy place to your deity. All right. So, you all wake the next day, and the hunt is beginning to gather themselves and break down the encampment, snuff out the fires. Smokey the Bear would be proud. And they all begin to mount
He's
up.
actually one of the Bear King's men that we're meeting.
Yeah, Smokey. God damn it. Yeah. The Count. No, I'm trying to think. The Warden of.
He's actually a Phoenix origin sorcerer as well.
There you go. He controls the flames. Any other preparations you guys are doing on the presumably morning of this battle?
I'm just gonna toot to the daggers, and so that means I'm unattuning the. Well, should I keep Sir Clutch's glove? Because so we might not see Natasha, so maybe I don't need the daggers. I can just keep the glove just in case. Because she shows up that I don't have them. Dang it. Well, I need to make a decision. Never mind. I'm not gonna tune to the daggers yet.
Okay. You can do that on a short rest. So
Okay.
that is something you could decide, change your mind on later.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if she shows up immediately, then yeah. So just mark that they're not attuned. Now, here's I will say this as far as the effects on them.
Uh-huh.
When you are not attuned to them, you can still use the daggers.
Uh-huh.
You just don't get the magic effects of the daggers unless you're attuned to them. It still counts as a cold iron weapon. It would still work against her, do damage, but essentially they are mundane daggers unless you attune to them.
Got it. Well, that's still useful.
Yeah. All right. So you all mount up. I think you're provided horses. They have plenty of extras if you want to ride a horse or a drake or a elk or a. I don't think they don't have any wyverns that you can see here. But you all mount up on your steeds of relative shapes and sizes and go charging off with the hunt into the Great Blue Yonder. I need some more dramatic music.
I'm definitely on an elk, by the way.
I don't know if this is the music I want. No, hold on. I need something.
Oh.
Okay, I'll take this. So you all mount up on your the horses and go charging off with the thunder of the wild hunt behind you, prepared for battle. You see them decorated in war paint, the horns blaring to signify the procession of the hunt through the wilderness here. You see that the Lord of the Hunt is sort of near the front of the charge, but is that music just got real loud. But is hanging back a bit and giving off commands to the group. And as you ride over the ridges and begin making your way towards the Gray Wastes, you can see off in the distance the force of Bjornheim, of the Bear King, also marshaled near the edge of the Gray Wastes. As you pass them a few miles to the south, you can hear the horns of the Bear King's army blare. And I think one of the riders. I'm going to assume that you've handed them all maybe to one of the riders who are now takes that and goes thundering off on an elk in the direction of the Bear King to deliver his new weapon to be used in battle, which hopefully you will see used in combat. And then you ride into the Shadowed Desolation. It gets loud again.
The horns!
And you go thundering across the this broken landscape, the jagged spires, the place you escaped from not too long ago. The skies darkening and blackening above you. You can see off in the distance that ominous glow of the Tower of Turgalok, far, far to the north, a place where there's a break in the clouds and this moonlight is cascading down and coalescing on a black spire that is jutting up from the landscape. And I think from when you're cresting some of the ridges, you can barely make out at the base of the tower a white shape resting near the edge, a mast of the relentless gale and a flag fluttering in the low sort of drifting winds. And it is ominous and quiet except for the thundering of the hooves beneath you and the various mounts and creatures that you are riding along. And as you ride through valleys and over ridges, again, it's quiet and you almost unnervingly so have not encountered any of the creatures that you've seen here previously. And finally, as you crest a ridge, you can see the site of the Ember Citadel, something you have not noticed, had not been aware of you, or that none of you have seen to this point. Nestled between the jagged mountain spires, you can vaguely make out in the darkness this fortress that has been built into the stone itself, glowing with the countless fires that are specked throughout, the broken and beaten walls forming a rough perimeter around, and you can see the ramparts of this massive fortress that rests there. And as you are cresting this ridge, suddenly there is this lurching sensation as you realize the reason for the quiet, this abandoned landscape, and you see a relative army that is now stationed outside of the southern ramparts of the Ember Citadel. The preparations that have been made for your approach. You see giant kin gathered. You see frost giants and stone giants. You see the small armies scattered throughout of the shade gnomes that you've encountered before. The Fomorians preparing themselves for battle in armored plating as they begin to slowly march in the direction to meet the wild hunt. And as you are riding alongside the hunt, the horn blares once again. The armies preparing themselves for this assault. And as you are as you are approaching, you also look up and you notice there is the clouds above you are roiling in the same ways you noticed in Ard Cross time. There's so spinning and crackling of electricity. And as you hear the roar of the giants and their war horns meeting and the armies about to meet, there is suddenly a blast of lightning that strikes down almost directly in front of where your group, your provision of soldiers that you're traveling along with, almost directly in front of you, causes you to rear back, and your mounts stop in a moment, almost throwing you off of them. And then standing there in front of you, you see the Jarl, the storm giant that you had encountered previously, now standing amongst the battle. She throws a hand out to one side, and a blast of electricity incinerates 4 of the riders that are trying to scatter past her. And she lets out a billowing roar, electricity and thunder crackling around her. And then from the eyes that are now swelling with energy, electricity crackling off of them, she looks up and makes eye contact with your party as you approach. And I'd like you all to roll for initiative. This isn't the music I wanted. Let's go here.
I'm still at -2, right?
You are.
I can't click Star's token.
That could be my fault. Can't click his. Huh. That's weird. Can the rest of you click your tokens?
Yep.
Represents character star. Let me do this. Let's see. Can you click that token?
Nope. Wait. Oh, there we go. It was actually my fault. I forgot I'd used the ruler thing earlier.
Oh,
no.
Yeah, that happens. Okay, good. Whew. Figure out what it was, and I was really nervous. Ooh, wow. Okay, we got some good initiative rolls. So
Gotta change mine quickly.
Oh, sorry, I haven't rearranged.
Why aren't you changing now? There. The order doesn't change, but there we go.
Why do I have 2 of each of you? All right, here's what I'm gonna have you guys do. Let's go and read off your initiative. Saddle, what'd you get?
25.
All right, Tova, what'd you get?
7.
Star, what did you get?
23.
Okay.
Dang, guys.
Dan, you got a 10.
10.
Okay. Didar got a 6.
6. Oh, I should have a 23 because then I get 2.
Oh, yeah, you can.
But it was a nat 20.
I think you're... Well, crap, now we go through the thing. I think Star's going to go first because it's...
Cool.
He has got the better movement speed. Because you guys have the same dexterity, right? You're both a +5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So, Stormtrunk got 19. All right. So that's going to put it to Star going first.
Okay. Is she like right in front of all of us?
Yeah. I'd say she's probably within like, at this point of the time your mount stopped, probably within like 30 feet or so, within running distance of any of you.
Okay. Well, I can't stab her with my friends that far away.
Yeah, she's a little far for friend stabbing.
That is what it's called now, friend stabbing.
I will go ahead and point out too, you're in the Shadow of Desolation now, so it is dim to dark light everywhere here. So you get all your bonuses for that.
Just let me double check what they are, because if one of them is exactly what I'm remembering.
It's, I know you get a plus to your AC and advantage on all saving throws. Yeah.
I've got so many choices though. I am actually for this turn just going to cast Mirror Image on myself.
Okay. You cast Mirror Image now, 4-star stand where there was one before. All right. And can I assume you guys all dismounted? I give you the free action to have dismounted before the fight began, unless you guys want to. I don't think any of you are.
I dismount.
Yeah, good with that. All right.
I think I want to stay on mine.
Hold on. Oh, you want to stay on yours? Okay.
Yes.
I forgot to put Lil.
There she is. Oh no, she needs some help.
I didn't roll initiative for her, but she's just going to go last. Okay. and I assume she's probably on. I almost said Brody, goalie. Oh god, she rolled a 1, so there we go. Perfect.
Brody?
Brody's almost what I called her dog. Goalie. Who's now named Brody. Okay. We'll deal with that after. So yeah, so that's Star's turn. Sato.
I guess I'll shoot it with my new Cold Iron Thunder Cannon.
Do it.
How's a nat 20 30?
Yeah.
Should I use my elven accuracy just to be safe?
Roll a second nat 20. That's up to you, buddy.
29. So I'll take the 30.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering if he ever gets a nat 20 on all this dice, will it just be an insta kill for whatever?
A triple nat 20.
If I get 3 natural 20s,
I'll consider it.
All right.
We get to the final boss of this first round of combat.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if you can one-shot a giant. Go ahead. Roll damage.
Oh god. 31 piercing and 36 thunder.
Holy crap. So that's 67 points of damage in one hit.
Yes.
All right.
I'm out for vengeance.
I've upping all the hit points by every creature in this campaign now by double. Okay. Whoops. So 67 points of damage. Oh wait, that's thunder damage.
That is thunder damage.
I'm just gonna put those 36 hit points back. As the bullet hits, the bullet itself tearing into her. There's that burst of thunder, and you almost see as the as her flesh and the shoulder as you hit kind of dissolves into smoke for a second. Actually looks like a cloud, and then solidifies back, having almost no effect. The bullet itself, the magical essence, cutting through and actually leaving a visible impact.
And I did do a little bit of explosive damage there.
Yeah, you did. But yeah, the thunder damage does not seem to have any effect. That will end your turn. And it is her turn now. And she is going to the first thing she's going to do is, as she comes walking forward, she sees, or having gotten shot by you, kind of locks onto you, Sadel, and almost looks a little confused to see you up and alive. She then holds out a hand, and you see a spear of solid air form in her hand, which she then hurls in your direction. And as it streaks through the air, it homes in on you and hits you, dealing that'll be not a whole lot, 17 points of piercing damage. But that's her first attack. And then, actually, no, she's going to do that twice. So she does that once to Sato. She then forms another one in her hand and hurls it out. This one will be at Den, which it hits. Because it just hits. And that'll be 22 points of piercing damage.
I don't like that. Just want to go on record and say I don't like that.
What, that it just hits?
I don't like it.
It's her thing, though. That will end her turn. So, Den, it's your turn.
Sorry, I was doing math. Okay. I'm going to... Oh man, I don't know if this is gonna work. Crap. Nope, I'm gonna guess not, because it says ranged attack roll, and I don't think she's doing that. So I'm just gonna go hit her,
Okay.
I guess. Yeah, I'll use my action to attack with my flail.
All right. Go ahead. Make your attack.
Natural 20.
Shit, guys.
Except my thunder damage isn't gonna do anything. That's okay. Should I roll it anyway?
I mean,
No.
it's just gonna use up time.
I rolled 3 4s.
Holy shit.
I rolled another one. Okay, that one was a 1. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 3, 24, 30. Bludgeoning
All right.
damage.
30 bludgeoning damage.
And no thunders.
That's still a lot of damage. All right. 30 points of damage as you kneecap her
Yes.
with your flail, and she falters for a bit, kind of falling forward slightly. Okay. That will end your turn, or anything else with your bonus action?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Tova, it's your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna pull out my short bow as I ride up, and I'm gonna shoot at her twice with my bow.
Yeah.
Ugh, that one's probably not gonna hit. That is 12 for the first arrow.
12 hits.
Oh, it does. Okay. And more than that for the next one. Okay, like 12, 14 for the next hit.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, it's got 2 6s. Okay. So that is 18. 18
Nice.
piercing. And then riding up there, and I'm gonna kind of like come. I don't know how fast my elk buddy is.
Probably about, let's say, 50 feet.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna come around and kind of like go behind her, and as Den just like kneecapped her, I'm gonna jump off and flurry of blows, punch, punch.
Okay.
20 for the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. And not as much for the next one. Oh, but it's 12 for the second one, which still hits, right?
Yep, that still hits.
Yes. Okay. Punch, punch. Okay, so 9 for the first one and 5 for the second one. Oh wait, but that was a natural 20, so I have to 5, 6, 7. Okay, so plus 2.
Okay, so 9 and 5 is 14 plus 2.
Yeah.
16.
There
Okay. There's
16 bludgeoning.
Nice. Okay. A series of expertly struck blows to the back of her knees. And I think she falls down to one knee after taking a few hits like that and has been dealt a serious amount of damage in one round. That's going to put it to Didar's turn. So he's going to
Let's
run
go,
up and
boys. Yeah, why not? He's confident after the last fight he got in, so.
Sure. You got the killing blow. Okay, so Didar comes kind of paddling in. on
I feel like he'd be on his legs right now.
Yeah. And comes running up and kind of like doing the butterfly, kind of pulling across the ground, and go ahead and make your first attack with Didar.
Yeah, he's going to start with the bite. 11.
11 actually misses, yeah.
And then with the tail spike, 16.
16 hits.
Booyah. 9 piercing and 5 poison.
Okay, and you have the +3 factored into that as well for because you gave him what, +3 magic for the tail?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was factored in because it looked like it was the same attack modifier as it was for the bite.
Mm-mm.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
No, because the bite is 3d6 plus 4. This is 1d10 plus 3.
Okay. Well, and plus his strength.
So I should have another plus 4.
Yeah. To the attack
so
and the damage.
Then. Okay, so that'd be a 20 on the attack, and then 13 piercing, 5
Okay.
poison.
13 piercing and 5 poison. All right. So that's magical piercing. Okay, 13 piercing and poison. Okay. All right. Didar comes up, tries to take a bite, and is unable to sort of pierce through the very hard skin of this storm giant. However, the tail comes whipping around and stabs in the back of the Achilles tendon. And the storm giant kind of coughs out in pain from that as the poison damage sets in. All right. Though on Didar's turn, which put a little bit on Brody's back, is going to come charging in, yelling as she is. I'm just going to have her using the longsword right now because I don't have all the details from her on the hammer.
I sent it to you too.
Did you send that to me too?
+3 and 1d4 psychic damage.
That's right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and roll her normal Warhammer and then just add the +3 on that. She would be using that now. That's going to hit. I'll make her second attack too. That would hit with the +3. So the damage is going to be... she gets that radiant damage now. So that's 23 plus 6, 29 bludgeoning damage. And 14 radiant damage. Plus 2d4 psychic damage. Which I rolled 3 points of psychic damage total. All right. That's going to end Lilibet's turn. At the end of Lilibet's turn, the Storm Giant is going to use legendary actions to reach up towards the sky, and it forms another sort of javelin of lightning in her hand, which she is then going to hurl down towards the ground. Man, you've all done a lot of damage to her. I think this one she's going to do it. She's going to turn around kind of towards Tova, stabbing towards the back of her knees. Tova, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Let's do this one. Oh, that wasn't very good. Save, that is 11.
That will fail.
Oh, no.
That'll be... wish these auto-rolled.
Is she close enough to Lil to get a bonus?
She would, which would be a +5, which would still fail.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be 21 points of thunder damage as the bolt hits, and then there's this concussive blast from the lightning spear that hits you, giving this like shockwave of thunder.
Okay, how many again?
21.
21. Okay, evasion, so I get to have.
Oh, you do have that, so it'd be 10 points of thunder damage. Yes.
I just remembered that was a thing I can do.
Yes, that is a thing.
Okay, cool.
Star, it's your turn.
All my friends are there now, so I'm gonna run up and claw her.
Okay.
That is 26.
26 hits.
Ah, damn it, I should have done. Sorry, I just realized something I should have done, but never mind me.
Okay.
Although it wouldn't change the result of the roll, would you let me say I green flame bladed the claw attack, or would you say I have to pass it for this round?
No, that wouldn't make any difference. Yeah, I'll say you can do that.
Yes.
This once. Never again.
Okay, so I've got a lot more things to roll now. So, for the claw, that's 4 psychic.
Okay.
$12, 15, 22 slashing. And 11 fire.
Okay. All right. So that's a lot of damage. Okay, so you stab the claw, again cutting across, kind of around like the abdomen, like cutting into her gut, and she kind of doubles over in pain at that. All right. So
I'm just double checking what that counts as casting time. Cool. No, I used a spell, not an attack, so I can't take an
you can't use the bonus action.
Can't I? No, okay, that's my turn then.
Okay. At the end of your turn, then, she's going to use another legendary action. Yeah, I think she just wants to get... Yeah, I think what she's going to do is try to get... Oh, man. You guys are all doing a lot of damage. I don't feel like any of this helps anymore. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You're the last thing that attacked her, so Star, I need you to make a strength saving throw.
I'm so glad I have advantage. It doesn't do much though. No, 8. Sorry, I don't have
8.
a ring of protection anymore.
All right, 8 fails. She creates a gust around you, and suddenly you find yourself being pulled along the ground as she flicks her wrist upwards, and you go kind of sliding across the ground about 20 feet away from her. Doesn't have any other effect than that, but it just you go skidding across the ground 20 feet in a horizontal direction, which is just away. Doesn't really do much. You can just run back there, but something. Small victories. Sadell, it's your turn.
I'm going to shoot her again.
All right, go ahead and shoot. I don't think you can miss if you don't roll a natural 1, and you'd have to roll 3 natural ones.
Ooh, how's a 31?
You want to roll?
Sorry, a 29.
Do you want to roll again to see if you get the crit?
A 20. But okay. I'll take the 29.
Okay. Yeah, that hits.
17 piercing.
All right. That's a more reasonable amount of damage.
Reasonable.
Okay. Another shot rings out, cuts into her kind of straight through the abdomen. She is looking like super rough right now. That ends your turn, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, she gets another turn. So she's going to use the most of it, and she's going to make, actually, this time, forming a what looks to be a sword of pure lightning in her hand, is going to strike down twice. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Is going to make an attack against, attack against Lil. That's a 2 or 16. That actually misses Lil. Lil's able to avoid the strike. And then the second attack is going to be Star. You have out of range. It's going to be against Tova. I think that is going to hit you with a 25. So,
yeah,
that is going to be 42 points of lightning damage.
Oh, Ouch. Okay.
I had to roll the attack on here because I rolled a natural 20 on roll 20. So glad I didn't use that one. That would have been a lot of damage. Doing that math, I think that's like 80. Okay, well that ends her turn, and Den is on you.
I'm gonna hit her.
I'm sure you are. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
16.
16 hits.
Yay. Ooh. Uh, 12 bludgeoning
12 points.
damage.
All right, 12 points of bludgeoning damage with your flail as you slam into her with it. And she is right on the edge. Okay. Anything with your bonus action? Anything else?
I'm gonna use my bonus action to healing word Tova.
Fair.
So it's not very much healing. At 2nd level.
Okay.
That is that's 12.
Okay.
Rolled really
You're
good.
getting 12 hit points. That will end your turn, and she's going to use legendary actions, so she has the opportunity. Wow, can't do that. So she is going to call down another thunderbolt on top of you, Den. So I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Is this a spell?
This is not.
Okay. 14.
That does not succeed.
I figured. It usually doesn't.
Why aren't my dice rolling? It's 28 points of lightning damage.
Ow.
That then ends her turn and probably her life, as it is Tova's turn.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pull out Longfang and slash at her.
Go for it.
Okay. 26 for the first one.
That hits.
Okay. And a natural 20 for the second one.
Holy shit. Okay.
Alright, so... Okay, wait. Let me roll damage for the first one. And that's not very much. She might be fine. That is... sorry. 8. I didn't roll very hard for that one. 8 for the first one.
Okay. Surprisingly still alive after the first hit.
And then turn around and hit her with the other side of the chain. And again, 8!
That's
I
an
just
8.
rolled 4 twos!
That's the damage? Okay. Well,
Yes.
After that first one, she had 9 hit points. You did 8 damage. She had 1 hit point left. So
Hey!
how do you wanna do this?
Oh my gosh. I'll just sort of like, it's like slash at her and then sort of like bring the chain up so it like conks her like right in the head.
Okay. So
Nice.
you take the chain after cutting across the other.
Freaking reach that high. How tall is she?
She's pretty tall, like about 50 feet tall. But
Yeah, it's not gonna reach that high.
well, here's what I'll give you. So she was down on one knee. You cut across the back of the other leg as you rush in front of her. And she drops to both knees on the ground, at which point you sort of spring kick off of her her thigh as she is doubling over forward, whirling the chain around. You strike upwards just as her head is coming down, striking into the bottom of her jaw. There is this crunching noise as you assume that multiple teeth are breaking as it hits, causing her head to whip backwards, and then the entire giant body goes crumpling over backwards and slamming down onto the stone behind her. And she does not appear to remain living. And so here is the scene before you at this point. As you have fought this giant kin and won, you see the armies the armies clashing. You see the riders of the Wild Hunt storming before you, that's still thundering around you, clashing with the Fomorians and the Stone Giants and the Frost Giants that are heading this army. You see the small explosions of sparks of the Shade Gnomes that are being killed, and then and exploding into these clouds of sparks, and you hear the tin of these armies as they are whelming and colliding with each other with great force. And you can see the black gates beyond, fires glowing from within, armies pouring out, and you know that this is the only chance you will have to enter this citadel. And with that, you all gather yourselves, looking to one another, and charge forward towards the gates and through this opening into the Ember Citadel. And that is where we are going to go ahead and end our session here for tonight, and pick back up in the Ember Citadel next week to continue this siege. Dramatic music. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and cut that off, even though I love the song so much. I just wanted to hear the... Okay, there we go. All right. Deep breaths, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call our session here for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We are really appreciate it. Appreciate all you. I appreciate you, my players. We will continue this journey next week. Until then, just a couple of announcements. Make sure you check in for all of our other shows that are going on here on GGameKnights. You can check out on Monday. We will have the continuation of Apocrypha, our Apocalypse World campaign, where, much like now, I feel like all of these are converging at once. Big epic battle here today, probably to precede a big epic battle in Apocrypha either this week or next session. A lot of awesome stuff going on there as our survivors are attempting to survive the wasteland, to take down the vicious Black Dogs gang, and bring some peace back to their miserable lives once again. We will have Tidefall on Thursday, continuation of our journey there as we move into a new arc, further into the desert, seeking to unlock mysteries of ancient creatures and bring some peace to those lands as well. If you've missed anything, you want to catch up on any of our shows, and you like any of the content you're seeing, check out our YouTube, youtube.com/GameKnights, 2 G's and a K. We've got all sorts of great shows there, including video game series. We do lots of awesome video games as well. We'll probably doing some tonight. Lots of great games that we picked up in the Steam sale. But thank you all for watching. We'll go ahead and I will shut up now. But I am so happy to have this game every week. But thank you all, and until next time, good game and good night, Internet.
Good night, Internet.